Welcome, everybody, to the Joe Lee podcast, the only podcast that'll acknowledge Week 7 was one of the worst weeks that we've had this entire year. I'm Joseph, and today I'm joined by...
Hey, how's it going, everyone? I don't know, Joseph, about you. I think Week 7 is one of those weird weeks. I think you and we didn't really watch many games. I do think that we have an injury report here. So can you tell us a little bit about what's happening in Week 7?
Okay, so Week 7, we had probably like one of the most, awful injuries. Was the Patrick Mahomes concussion, actually. And he is questionable as of right now to return into action next week, which I doubt it. I'm sure that he will be back for Week 8. But yeah, not really that great of a week for Mahomes. He got that nasty concussion during the Tennessee game. And, that's kind of like the main topic for this week is the whole Patrick Mahomes situation and the Kansas City. And as you can see by the outline for this week, it's really all about them. And so I guess it's now time to pose the question, is Kansas City a great team, a good team, or a bad team? What do you think, Lee?
I do think that they have a bad luck this season, to be honest. I feel like, given the fact that maybe their defense are pretty much the same as last season, it's kind of surprised to see how terrible they're doing this season, where they lost quite a few games. I didn't quite expect to be that way. So I will tend to think that this is like bad luck than anything else. How about you?
Man, I feel like it's a lot of like factors when it comes to like Kansas City, and I feel like mostly like the problem with the Chiefs right now is like their O-line, and I feel like they've never really been like a defensive juggernaut. That's never been their strength. Their defense has been decent, like passable enough. And I think even last season there was a couple of questions of whether if the Chiefs could continue playing the way that they're playing without a proper defense. But now it's kind of like rearing its ugly head in this season, and it's really showing that the defense is zero to non-existing. But I do think that the major reason why they can't compete is because, Patrick Mahomes is like pretty much pressured all the time, and the O-line for them isn't really like coming together, and so that's kind of the reason for like their downfall. They have like weaknesses in the two biggest areas for an offense, for a team in general: the O-line and the defense.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been kind of bad for them, and to be fair though, they've been losing to decent teams. They lost the Chargers. They've lost the Titans. Let me look up what was the other losses that they had. But I really don't think it's necessarily... I don't necessarily think that it's Patrick Mahomes' fault per se. He's really good. It's just everything else around him seems to be falling apart.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I do remember there are a few games that I watched where the receiver will fumble, or they would catch the ball and the ball would slip up with their hand, and you're gonna figure out what happened to them. It's just like, wait, you couldn't catch a ball or something? Like, it's just wild.
Yeah, and like you were talking about, Mahomes has 9 interceptions, and he's actually tied for the most interceptions in the season, as you can see here, tied for 32nd. I think Zach Wilson is the other quarterback who has 9 interceptions for the season, and you hate to see it because it's really some of them were blatantly him, but most of the interceptions that I see from Mahomes are like exactly what you described. Like, he throws it, the receiver doesn't catch it, like it tips, or like the ball is tipped, and then a corner or a safety ends up catching the ball. And it's like, how is this happening? Like, a lot of his receivers are supposed to be the best receivers in the league. I mean, you have
Yeah.
Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce, and they're quote unquote amazing. I mean, they are. They've shown in the last 2 years how good they really are. But
Mm-hmm.
you can't be letting stuff like that happen. I think he would only have like 3 of them.
Right.
Yeah. So it just sucks. So yeah. So let's see. Week 1 they won against the Cleveland Browns in a really close matchup. And before anyone starts saying, well, they barely won against the Browns were actually good during that week 1. Everyone was healthy for them. Now they have no one. So good win there. Week 2 they lost to Baltimore. Baltimore is like one of the best teams right now. So, and it was another close one. They lost by 1 point. Then they lost to the Chargers. The Chargers, in my opinion, are the best team in the AFC. I'm a little biased, but the Chargers have always kind of had the number of Kansas City during important situations. Not all the time, but it's almost a coin flip when you're talking about Kansas City versus the Chargers. Week 4 they beat Philadelphia. That makes sense. Philly's not that good, or not as good as I thought that they would be. Week 5 against Buffalo, they lost. Buffalo is one of the top 5 teams in the AFC. Like, it was not close for this game. It was 20-38. But if you actually watch the game, it was pretty close up until the fourth quarter. Washington football team, a win. Obviously, that team sucks. And then they just lost to the Titans. Why did they lose to the Titans? Because the run game is so good with Derrick Henry. Then there's no way that defense was going to stop Derrick Henry. Now, the offense couldn't produce anything clearly because it was a 3-27. They got slaughtered. But you also have to remember that Mahomes got injured towards the end of the game with a concussion, so he had to be out. So that probably gave him the opportunity to go and score a lot more on them. So,
Yeah.
You want to say that they're out of it, but, if you look at the rest of the schedule, they got the Giants, the Green Bay, that's another loss. So people will continue this narrative that they suck or that they're not good for another 2 weeks at least. They got to play the Raiders, which, a little correction from last week, the Raiders are actually good. I will not be calling them flukes anymore. So to anyone who took my comments, at least I know when to correct myself. They're actually good.
Yeah.
They've bounced back from the Gruden situation. Okay, then they got the Cowboys, which is another, they have 2 back-to-back potential losses right there.
Yeah.
Denver, they're going to win. The Raiders, they might lose again. Then the Chargers, I think they're going to lose again to the Chargers. The Steelers, a win. The Bengals are amazing now for some reason. The Broncos again. The Niners, I think it'll be close. The Cardinals, they might lose. And then the Vikings, they suck. So they'll win again. Oh wait,
Yeah,
I'm
so
sorry. I read into the preseason.
I do feel like it does feel like they might not win a lot of games like for the remaining of the seasons. Not saying that they won't win, but I just feel like they have like very tough schedule coming up for them.
Yeah. At this point, my prediction is they'll either be a wild card team or they won't make it at all. It's just they just play against too many competitive teams, and that defense isn't. If it's not there, then that's half the game gone right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just seems like he's been running around this entire time. Like, he looks like a chicken with his head cut off on the field.
Man, that's awful. I feel like this is almost like what the Super Bowl was like last year, right? Last season, where he's just running around for his life.
Yeah, and if you take a closer look at the stats from the Tennessee game, you'll realize it really was not him to begin with. He had 20 completions for 30. He had 35 attempts, 206 yards, and a 57.1 completion rate. He averaged 6 yards per pass. He only had one interception during the Tennessee game. And here's the evidence that it's really not him, because he has 4 sacks during that game.
Yeah.
Like, that's just unacceptable. You can't be letting that happen.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I'm not taking anything away from Mahomes. I think he's still a great athlete. I just think the team around him is not doing all that great.
Yeah. I agree.
Okay. Okay, Lee. Now the dreaded time for you to give us the report on the Niners.
Okay.
What's going on?
So what's going on with the Niners? Kyle Shanahan says that he had a plan to play against the Colts, and maybe they have a good offensive scheme or a defense scheme. It turns out that at the beginning it feels like that way because they scored a touchdown in 2 minutes. Okay, that was really good. For whatever reason, they missed the kick, so that was 6-0. But everything go downhill from there. It was a super windy and raining day, okay? So, like, if anyone wanted to go to that game, I definitely wouldn't be one of them, but apparently it was pretty packed. Let me just give you one stat that really frustrates me because Jimmy G. Garoppolo, he actually like fumbles quite a bit, twice. I think Carson Wentz also fumbled once. I think it's because it was raining, so the ball was a little bit slippery. But then, if you look at the third down efficiencies, Niners had 11, okay, third downs. They only complete from there, only score one, get to one first down. Like, so out of 11, they were able to get first down from those 11 third downs. 1 out of 11. That's how bad it was, because I was kind of like following the game. And then I was like, oh, here it comes again, third down. And they're not going to move the ball. So like they keep getting stuck in the offense, right? Like third down, they can move the ball, can advance the ball. So they have to give it away to the Colts. And so this same thing happened. And then there were like a couple interceptions through by Jimmy. And that was pretty much the game. Like there's no offense at all. And then it was really hard to watch. My friend was there live, and then he was like, the Niners are kind of disappointing to watch. And so there's really nothing much I can say about this game. There's a lot of question about the coaching staff. Like, what are they doing exactly? Why are they so bad right now? Maybe they should play Trey Lance in the next game when he's healthy. Like, we should start with Trey Lance. Like, stop playing Jimmy G. So yeah, like I think it's really hard because it made it sound like Kyle Shanahan has no idea what he wanted to do. To be honest, like he was kind of like lost, and in the press conference, he seems to be a little bit like, well, this happens. At least we're not like 2-6, because when he was with the Falcons, he was able to take the team to 10-6 at the end. But I'm just thinking like, if Niners go to 2-6, and given the fact that they're in NFC West, how likely is it that they're gonna be able to pull to 11-6? But I don't know. I think that's very unlikely. But that's just my opinion. But overall, not a good game. I don't know how Colts were able to pull it out. I honestly don't think the Colts were that good, but they won the game. So huge props to the Colts, and Niners need to do better.
Yeah, I watched a little bit of that game, more towards the beginning, and then I kind of started doing other things later. But yeah, it seemed like it was a pretty bad game. The rain didn't help, and the Niners just didn't seem to be able to do anything. It sucks because you have like 2 really decent quarterbacks in that place with Jimmy G and Trey Lance, and I really hope they develop Trey Lance into something. Do you think that this coaching staff is let go or fired at the end of the season?
I think because like Kyle Shanahan just signed an extension, so he's gonna be with the Niners for a couple of seasons. I don't know. I feel like with Robert Saleh left for the Jets, I do the defense end. On the defense side, they also need some work. But I do feel like if they end up being like 5-12, then there's something to be said about this thing, because I don't really think the team was that terrible. Like, because they have okay or average like offense. I would say maybe okay and average defense. But why is it we keep getting like injuries here and there, and it doesn't make sense? Like you're missing a tackle, you're missing a left tackle and tight end here and there. And so it was really frustrating. It's almost like every single week you always have at least one player that's not available to play. And I think to win a football game like this is very challenging, and almost feels like, are we back to 2020 where the Niners had like what 6-10 record?
Yeah, no, I definitely understand the pain of like having talent and not being able to do anything about it.
Yeah. It's rough.
Speaking of other things that sucked, this week was in football was absolutely atrocious. I'm just gonna quickly run down and show you why this week was horrible. Denver versus Cleveland. No one cared about this game. No one cares about Denver. No one cares about the second string team that the Cleveland Browns have, because apparently everyone they have is injured. Little correction from last week. Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb are both injured. So when I was talking about Cleveland winning with those two guys, I was actually wrong. They just weren't even in the game, and they still managed to win. So I got it right, but not for the right reasons.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Carolina versus the Giants. No one cares about this game either, except those two fan bases. Carolina showed their kind of true colors, and do they suck? Maybe, probably. It seems like that's where it's heading. They've had 3 straight losses after 3 straight wins, so no idea what's going on with that team.
Well, they actually lost 4, I think.
Is it 4 now? Oh yeah, it's 4 now.
Yeah, because they have 3 and 4.
New York Jets versus the Patriots. Again, who cares about this game? Patriots fans? Jets fans? Are there Jets fans? Okay, Kansas City versus Tennessee. It was a bad game, just because it wasn't entertaining at all. Washington, Green Bay. I didn't care. I think you texted me saying you didn't care about this game either.
Yeah, it just didn't look that fun to watch. Yeah.
Miami, Atlanta. I would call this a choke bowl. See who can choke the most, and it seemed like the Dolphins choked the most.
I know.
It was
it was like a last minute, right? So it's just got a winning field goal kick, right, by Cool.
Yeah.
And he made it, and so they won.
Bengals Ravens. I thought this was going to be the closest game. Maybe I was hoping the Bengals would win, but my goodness, they destroyed them. And it seems like that's kind of in a pattern with some of the top AFC teams, win, and then they get smashed by someone or an offense or a defense that they undermine or don't understand, and that's kind of like what happened here. Then Detroit, LA, again, no one cared about this game except for maybe Rams fans. And again, another fan base. Do fans even exist for the Lions? So that game wasn't interesting at all. The Detroit kept it close at the beginning, but they faked some punting attempts, and they actually got a couple first downs, and they kept it competitive at the beginning. But then after the second half, LA decided to actually start playing. And so then that's why it's 28-19. Philadelphia versus the Raiders. The Raiders came back. Good for them. I knew Philly was going to be somewhat competitive, but yeah, they actually did as good as I thought that they might do, but they didn't pull out the win. I was kind of hoping that they would, but that's because I'm in the AFC West. And yes, I'm wearing a Mahomes jersey because I like Mahomes. I'm not a Kansas City fan. Houston versus Arizona. We totally expected this to be a complete.
Nobody cares about that.
Yeah, no one cares. Arizona wiped them out. Tampa Bay versus Chicago. Chicago sucks. We talked about this last week. And then Indy versus San Francisco. That was just you just talked about it.
Yeah,
we don't need to talk about it anymore. New Orleans versus Seattle Seahawks. Another horrible game. None of the offenses looked good. The most interesting part was watching Peyton and Eli on Monday Night Football and Marshawn Lynch saying the F word live on air. So that was the most entertaining part of that.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we can go into the important part of this. NFL Week 8 preview and predictions. Yay, get us out of this horrible Week 7 into Week 8.
Yeah, I think Week 7 was just awful. I just couldn't watch some of those games. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, this might be a short one, but let's run down through it. Green Bay Packers versus the Arizona Cardinals. Who do you got?
I'll go with the Packers. Like I need Aaron Rodgers to say something. Come on.
Yeah.
He didn't say anything last week. Like I feel like the press conference was like, whatever.
His PR team or Green Bay management probably told him to tone it down this week with the sassiness, but hopefully it brings it back this week, gives us something to talk about.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I'm hoping for Green Bay here. I want to see the Cardinals lose, but that's because my dad's a Rams fan, so I want them to be.
The Cards are very good right now.
Yeah. Although I guess if they lose, they still have to. They're still on the top of that, the NFC West division. So,
right.
But yeah, I want to see them lose. So I got Green Bay, but I think this will be really close, and I think Arizona will pull it off. They'll beat Green Bay.
One of the things about this game is that Devontae Adams is not available to play. I think it's due to COVID.
Yep, that kind of sucks.
Mm-hmm.
The Bengals versus the Jets. Who do you got?
I think Bengals.
Yeah, Bengals showed that they're actually pretty decent. They might be even good. So I think the Bengals got this. But who knows? The Bengals can bungle it up again. All right, Tennessee versus Indianapolis. Who do you got?
The Titans.
Yeah, I got the Titans here. It's just Derrick Henry. There you go. I don't need to reason
very
anymore.
Good, yeah.
Yeah. The LA Rams versus the Houston Texans. Who do you got?
Rams.
Yeah, Rams. They've just been the best team, one of the best teams in the NFC. I think right behind the Cardinals.
Yep.
Pittsburgh versus Cleveland. Who do you got?
I'm going to go with the... I don't know. Let's go with the Browns because, the Steelers are not that good.
Yeah, the Steelers aren't doing great either, but I feel like they're kind of even with all these
They do have their quarterback,
injuries.
though. They have Big Ben. So.
Yes, I guess they technically have Big Ben. This is interesting. It could go either way, but I think Big Ben outplays Case Keenum, which, gosh, I wish I didn't have to say that in 2021. All right. The Philadelphia Eagles versus the Detroit Lions. Who do you got?
I think Eagles.
Yeah, I think the Eagles got it. I think that they're a lot better than Detroit. But it would be funny if the Lions win.
I think the Lions desperately need that one win. Because it's very depressing.
Their head coach cried during a press conference about not getting a win. And it's not even his fault. It's legitimately they have terrible players.
Yeah, do you blame this on the GM or the owner, for not being able to get good players?
I don't know, man. I feel like it's a lot of factors in that organization. They just don't care, or they don't want to pay people, or they don't want to off-season. They don't want to sign people. I don't know what it is, but
I don't know what it is because I remember even on the draft pick day, they weren't even on very top or something. I remember them being on top. The first one was the Jets, and then the other teams. I don't know. So I don't know. I hope the Lions can turn this thing around because it was just awful because the head coach was very passionate about trying to bring the Lions to at least one win. But as of now, it seems like they're really struggling to even win a game.
Yeah. All right, here we go. Two teams that we have no idea who will win because I think it's pretty close. The San Francisco 49ers versus the Chicago Bears. I know who you got.
I'm going to get Niners, but if they lose, I'm just going to be like, whatever.
The season's over. I'm out.
No, I don't want to say that, but I do feel like that's kind of trending that way. I don't want to give up that early, but the fact that they're 2-4, the fact that they have to win 2 extra games to be at 500, I think that's very challenging already. But I hope that they will pull this one out against the Bears. We'll see how good they play against Justin Fields and his offense.
Yeah, I'm kind of hoping too that that the Niners win. I think this is a winnable game. I think both teams are on No, the Bears are worse. I think the Niners can win this one. They just not gotta suck. As long as they're like mediocre, I think they'll beat the Bears.
Well, if you look at Jimmy, like his facial expression on Sunday, it says so. Like he didn't look confident. He looked awful. Like he felt like, man, that was probably the worst game I ever have had.
Yeah.
And then at that point, I just like, I wish we had a backup, good backup. I just throw him in there at the backup play. Don't play Jimmy anymore. Like he didn't feel like confident now. Like why did you keep playing him? So yeah, if Niners win this one, that would be huge for them. But if not, then it's kind of like semi-expected now.
Yeah. All right, Carolina and the Atlanta Falcons. Who do you got?
I think the Panthers are really showing their true color. I think the Falcons will get this one.
Yeah, the Falcons seem to be all right last week. If they can continue being all right and not choke, then I think they got it over the Panthers.
Did you hear that? Did you hear that Sam Darnold got benched?
Yes, I did. I did.
Wow.
That was something, eh?
Yeah, I thought he was pretty good in the first 2 games. So we were like, oh, it's not him, it's the Jets, right? And then now he got benched. I was like, wait, what's going on here?
Yeah. I don't know what's going on with Carolina. They seem to have a decent core. It's just they need a quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah, I think I got Atlanta, but it is Atlanta, so they could choke. Like they've choked away worse teams, so could happen. All right.
Yeah.
Miami Dolphins at Buffalo Bills. I think I already
Bills
know who
will
you
win
got.
this one.
Yeah, Bills. Just way too good. They'll win again. The Patriots versus the Los Angeles Chargers.
I think Chargers will win this one.
Yeah, I think it's time we get some revenge on the Patriots. I actually don't think we've beat them in I think like five years. Probably
Really?
more than that.
Oh, maybe
Because
this
we
will
didn't
be a
win
good
last
game.
season and we had a better team than they did.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping we beat them, but it seems like Belichick always kind of has our number when it comes to when we play each other. So I'm hoping that because of the coaching change that, we throw them off by surprise or, I think we're just better than them. So
Yeah,
there's no reason why the Chargers should lose this game, but I've seen stranger things happen during a Chargers-Patriots game.
I know. And then I think really Chargers want to redeem themselves from the last 2 weeks ago against the Ravens, right?
That was pretty bad. Yeah, we definitely need the
defense
win.
has to really stand up,
Yeah, it's getting really competitive with the Raiders because now they're the number one team in the AFC West. So I'm hoping that the Chargers get a dominant win here, and then the Raiders are the Raiders on a bye? They are possibly on a bye.
Maybe next week or something.
Yeah, so if we win here, we're back to the top of the AFC West. So I'm hoping we get the win and we go right back to the first spot. But the only way that will lock up the AFC West is if we beat the Raiders again. So hoping for that. All right. Jacksonville Jaguars at Seattle Seahawks. Who do you got?
I got Seahawks, but I kind of secretly hope the Jaguars will win.
I'm in the exact same boat. Actually,
maybe not. I don't know.
Actually, I'll just go with the Jaguars.
I think it's kind of fun because Seahawks is terrible right now. I don't know what they're gonna do. Are they gonna put Russell Wilson in? I don't think he's able to play.
I think he's still injured.
Yeah. So
yeah, I don't see Russell Wilson coming back. I got the Jaguars. I want to see Trevor Lawrence win some games.
Yeah, I think he's a very good quarterback, and then I think the Jacks just need to figure out a way to continue to win games, right?
Or fire their head coach. Washington at Denver. Who do you got, Lee?
We'll get Washington. I actually don't think Broncos is that good.
Yeah, the Broncos are kind of weird because they suck, but It's just because they have no talent, really, or like their talent doesn't compare to other teams' talent.
Yeah.
They have no one special. Like I couldn't name you one player that's like amazing from the Broncos team. You could probably ask me about one guy in every team, and I'd probably name them to you, but I couldn't point anyone out from
Well,
Denver.
what about Teddy Bridgewater?
Teddy Bridgewater is not
Oh, he's
great.
not good. Okay.
He's just good. He's good. Like he's mid. He's just not great. Like
I think they lost 4 games in a row, right? The Broncos. I guess they won their
I
first
think
3.
so. First 3, and then they've lost the next 4.
Oh my goodness.
So
Yeah.
I think I got Washington here. I like Taylor Heineke a lot more than I like Teddy Bridgewater. Although they're like similar in level, but I like Taylor
I think
Heineke more.
record-wise, they're both just not a really good team right now.
Yeah. All right. Tampa Bay versus the New Orleans Saints. Who do you got?
Oh, the Bucks will win this one.
Yeah, Bucks is easy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I really got nothing else to say here. Dallas Cowboys versus the Minnesota Vikings. Who do you got?
I'm gonna go with, like the record would say, like I should go with Cowboys, but I'm gonna try to go with the Vikings.
Why?
Vikings are always weird. I don't know what it is about them. There was one game when remember when they played against the Seahawks? I don't know how they won. They beat the Seahawks, and that was the correct calling, right?
That's because the Seahawks suck.
No, but they had a Wilson. Wilson was like playing that game, right? And I don't know how they lost. Okay, but anyway.
Yeah, I won't argue with you, but I think that's how it just destroys
really
them.
Good football right now, but I'm just weird. Being weird, I'm gonna try to say,
Okay.
Like, let's give Vikings some chance here, even though I'm just like I don't really care.
Okay, sure. Yeah, I got Dallas. Why this is the game of the week? I don't know, but I think all the games this week are also kind of weak. Maybe the Thursday night game is pretty good, but
I think that's probably one of the best ones there.
It might be the best game of the week.
I think that's the best game of the week. I think the Rams and the Texans is gonna be like blow up game.
Yeah. Well, we got one more.
The thing is that I want to say is that if the Giants actually manage to beat the Chiefs, then that would be wild. Because I don't think the Giants is that good.
Yeah. So actually, that's the final game. The New York Giants versus the Kansas City Chiefs. I got Kansas City. But oh my goodness, like the way they've been playing, is this a close game? I hope not, but
well, I think the Chiefs will win this one, right? Because maybe sometimes all you need to do is just have another quarterback to come in to set different tone, and somehow if they're good enough, they will be able to squeeze a win.
Is Alex Smith their backup? No. Who's their backup? Alex Smith is.
He'd retire. The backup is like a Czech Haney or something like that. So if you look at their backup.
Okay. Chad Henne.
Yeah, Czech Haney. Yes.
Interesting. I didn't expect that.
Well, he did came into play, while Mahomes was concussed during the I forgot which game he was playing against.
Tennessee.
No, but last season.
In the playoffs.
Yeah, in the playoffs, right? He did get concussed, and then like the backup come in. So Chad played. He was able to stick with the offense scheme, executed. It was very close. Like there were times I felt like he's not gonna, carry the offense, but he was able to do it. Yeah, he was able to do enough to get to help Kansas City to stay in the game and win the game eventually.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I think the Kansas City should have a good shot on this one. They just need to play better defense. If they count on the offense, I don't think they will win. Yeah, but I don't think the Giants were that good. So
no, the Giants suck. So I think, Kansas City has this one for sure. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's it. I think that was the end of week 8. So yeah. All right. Any closing things before we leave? I think this is going to be a short one, mostly because it just wasn't that great of a week. There nothing interesting happened on or off the field, which is good. Nothing happened off the field. Although there is some stuff going around. I guess I'll just go over some of the rumors. The Deshaun Watson trade with Miami is still up in the air. There has been no decision, and I think Roger Goodell came out and said that they were not going to add Deshaun Watson to the exempt list for the commissioner because there isn't enough evidence to incriminate Deshaun Watson.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just leave it at that. No opinions about that at all. Yeah, just weird stuff going on with Deshaun Watson. He's most of the rumor headline right now. There's also a situation where the Washington football team has requested all 14,000 of the emails to come out in public. I'm assuming that they found something on Washington, so now Washington is asking to release them because I guess he wants to... Oh, wait. No, I'm sorry. It wasn't the Washington football team. It was the Raiders that requested all 14,000 emails to come out. Sorry, I guess they're trying to also get Washington football team to be incriminated of something. Is what the rumor mill is right now.
I think it's declined. So Roger Goodell, I think he made a public like a press conference, and then he said well, there's really nothing to investigate further, and so the emails won't be released, and that's the latest thing that I saw. But who knows what's gonna happen? In a few weeks, maybe next week they say, oh yeah, there's gonna be emails being leaked or something. Who knows?
I don't know that there'll be a leak because now that Roger Goodell is kind of involved with I'm sure he was involved to begin with, but now that he's more hands-on with the situation, I don't think there'll be any leaks. But I think if enough teams or enough people are requesting
pressure
for these, pressure the league for these emails to be released, we'll see some more stuff. Again, I'm hoping the 14,000 emails reveal nothing, because the last thing I want is for there to be, I guess, some sort of upheaval in the NFL with ownership and stuff like that. But I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, it's a lot of, there's corruption everywhere in the government, and at work, everywhere. So it's not like the NFL is exempt. And I don't expect them to be exempt either. So
yeah.
Hopefully nothing comes out of it, but I wouldn't be surprised if it does.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else? I got nothing in the news.
I got nothing. I just want to say that week 7 was pretty awful week in terms of football, but hopefully week 8 will be better. I don't know if it will be better or not because it's just only a few very interesting games. Other than that, the wins and the losses are kind of expected.
Yeah. So we'll see. I'm just glad the Chargers are playing some football again. And I think that's it. So we'll bid you adieu. For Joseph Yanez, this has been my partner Lee. We will see you next week.
All right. See you guys.